to this. She was talking about the app and all like that. So those questions are going to be answered in this week and next week's session. At this time, I'm going to present to you our technology team representative, Sister Ayana Nathan, will lead us in our session tonight.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen, everyone. Thank you so much for staying on the call. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For those of you who are on live meeting, you probably, or the live stream, you can watch this on live stream. You see my face, right? You will not see my face in the session. Right now, we're going to ask that unless you have a question or concern, please mute your lines. We are recording this session, and we want to make sure everybody gets all the information. We will stop periodically to answer questions for you. But for now, we're asking that everyone mute your lines. If you are on Zoom, there is a microphone icon with either a strike through it, that means you're muted, or if there's no little line through it, you need to mute it and click on it. If you are on the phone, solely on the phone, you can click on *6. Okay?
*6, okay.
*6 to mute and *6 to unmute. All right, and at this time, we're going to begin our session. I wanted to just, this was pressed upon me to really share some information with you all about technology. I work in the technology field. My profession is a digital consultant. I'm a business consultant, and I do all things digital, all things technology. As I advise businesses, major corporations, on how to make their businesses flow better, run better, make more money, and using digital technologies to do that. That is my sole focus. As a part of that job, I am privy to a lot of the trends that are taking place. And I can kind of see things, you know, what happens in the macro world that we all live in. We see it once it hits us. There's a lot of things that trigger that behind the scenes. The leaders of this world that are hidden behind closed doors, they would love nothing but to have everything digital so they can have access to and see things. And there's not a lot of ways we can fight that. This is kind of just how society is going. But it's not a surprise that now that we're in a pandemic, technology is the only way to stay connected to people. You are going to have to, you know, in order to pay bills, sometimes now it's not easy to get cash to someone. It has to be digitally sent, right? So we're seeing that we're moving to a cashless society. We're moving to an online society. And we wanted to take this time to really just kind of talk to you guys about, you know, why we're here, how technology is. The technology team, we exist, and I pulled some slides from our department success plan that Pastor Nathan had us create a while back. We exist, and we said within ourselves, we exist all for the saving of souls. We use technology, but technology is neither bad or good. It can be used for good, it can be used for bad, but technology itself is just technology. It's just a thing. But we as humans, we have a purpose, and we want to use technology to promote that purpose. And that purpose is the saving of souls, the upbuilding of the kingdom. Some of the technologies team's responsibilities: we operate the audio equipment, visual aids, technology, the website, the church app, live streaming. We have a social media link, all of those things. And we're able to actually, you know, help promote the ministry by, you know, managing those things. So what we wanted to do was just kind of, you know, talk to you about what we do. Well, I'll go into the technology details in a second, but I wanted you to understand why the technology team is doing this. Part of our, you know, our job in making sure technology plays a role in the upbuilding of the kingdom, the saving of souls, is ensure that the audio visual aids are reliable, available at all times to spread the gospel. Make sure the worship experience itself, whether in person or remote, is done through technology. We have online media platforms to do that. And wherever possible, increase the engagement of church members in worship services. When we wrote this, we had no idea the pandemic was coming. right? That last bullet, increase the engagement of church members in worship services, outreach and personal spiritual development activity. We had no idea that we'd be relying on Zoom and the app to share Bible study notes and all this stuff. But God knew, and he had us operating and structuring ourselves in order to prepare for such a time as this. So thank God for the leading of the Holy Spirit. And so that brings us to today, knowing that things are changing so greatly in this world, and technology is the vehicle they're using to change it. It's driving everything in our day-to-day lives. Why are we having the workshop? Society is becoming, like I said before, less personal. It requires more interaction. During the pandemic, we're literally having to use technology to stay connected. Instead of going to see people and visit people, we're using FaceTime and FaceTime calls and things of that nature, and Zoom calls to have a play date or to have a lunch date, and you sitting there eating at your computer or phone while they're eating, and that's your lunch date now. And there's just, I know that some of the saints, some of us are very comfortable with it, and that's great. And then there are others of us that are somewhat comfortable and some that are not comfortable at all. Our goal as the technology team is to make sure that you all have enough information, you have knowledge about what technology is, how it works, so that you can use it not only to move in and out your day-to-day lives, but also to stay connected to the ministry. That was a message that we got early on during this pandemic, is to stay connected. We were admonished by Pastor Nathan to stay connected. So I want to make sure that you all have the knowledge you need in order to stay connected. How technology, we want to take away that intimidation factor, right? There's an intimidation factor. If you don't know how something works, I don't want to use it, or you'll just push it off. You don't need to do that. We have all the resources we need in order to make it in this world. And that's why we're here, to lend ourselves to share knowledge, but then also to help you. So we have our professionals, the mental health professionals, we have the medical professionals, we have educators, and now you have technology specialists. And so wherever you're lacking in that knowledge, that's where we're here. I won't be able to cover everything tonight, but I want to start a baseline introduction and get everybody on the same page so we know how things are utilized and how to differentiate between certain types of technology and when to use it. So here's a quick agenda for tonight. Give you a quick history lesson on the internet and the timeline of some innovations that you've heard of. You might heard of buzzwords, you don't really know where it lies on the continuum. Give you some real basic definitions of technology, and I'm not going to blow your brain with this special hype words. I also provide layman's terms or a layman's description of what that technology is. So hopefully you can get a picture of it. And then I'm going to end the session and have the rest of the tech team. We have a couple of members from our tech team that are going to tell you and show you how we use this technology for our ministry. Okay. And I just want to mention, before we get into this week and next week's lesson, this is again stressing, this is just an introduction to technology. It's a seminar to kind of take away, like I said, that intimidation factor. We will be offering ourselves to help out on one-on-one basis. If you don't want to ask questions on this call because you just don't want people to know, that's fine. We're going to be there to help you. We'll get you to where you need to be. Okay. So quick history lesson. We're talking about the internet. Now I'm going to start out talking about the internet. And I wonder if any of you know, fun fact here, did you all know that the internet actually originated for a primary use with the military, right? So there's actually the original use. They had some educators or some, I guess, what do you call them? What's the best word to call them? Special people doing these research projects on these college campuses. They were funded by the Department of Defense. And so ARPANET, and it stands for Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, ARPANET. They actually were trying to come up with a way to connect a bunch of computers that the Pentagon wanted to, have over telephone lines so they could start, connecting their computers. And this is almost like a command center. A lot of military bases, they will have their command center when they're at war trying to defend themselves. They wanted a communication system that couldn't be attacked. It couldn't be destroyed by enemies, that are, kind of, blacking out the network or something. And they wanted to have something safe that was not visible. And so ARPANET's purpose was always, it's kind of academic in nature, but the military funded it for their use. And so the end product, after like decades and decades of people trying to, develop upon this network of computers, it basically, it was really all kind of because of the military saying, hey, we don't want the Soviet Union using their jet bombers to launch nuclear attacks against us. So if we can start better coordinating our communications, then we can defend better. And so that's kind of where the internet, the original first working prototype, and it failed. They were trying to send one word from one computer to the next. And I think that word was login. And only the first two letters went successfully. Okay, but fast forward decades forward, then you started having more success. Different schools and educators, academic systems were developing upon it. You had different men at companies that were making inventions. And then all of a sudden, the internet was born. So let me tell you, let's get to our next slide here. So the history of the internet. Here's a little bit of history. Back in 1970, actually it's like kind of late 60s, so to speak, that's when ARPANET was developed. Then fast forward, once they finally got a working prototype of that, you had email that was developed in 1971. You guys can find some of your birthdays on here, some of you on the line. The World Wide Web, as we know it, www, that was released in 1992. Then we have, you all hear websites, and when somebody says go to cnn.com or THDT.org, the use of those dot whatever extensions, that was in 1984. And then ARPANET, as we originally knew it, kind of died by that time, and it started coming out into what is the commercialized version of the internet and the web that everybody was using. You saw websites like Yahoo, Google, Hotmail, all those types. eBay came out. In the early 2000s, you started seeing your social media come, and we'll talk about that in the second session. And then finally, in the latter portion of the early 2000s, I say 2007 or whatever, the iPhones, the mobile web, we have those smartphones and that technology. So that kind of gives you a timeline. We're really talking about this major digital technology that started bursting the way we know it today around the late 60s, all the way up to here. And I mean, it's within one decade, you're always seeing a new invention or a new concept that's coming about. So that gives you a little bit of idea of how things grew. Here's the first definition, the internet. Now, I want to pause here and tell my millennials that are on the line and those that you use the internet, you can get on it on your phone, your PC, you know this stuff already. Just trust me. I promise you, you will learn a few things, even in some of these basic definitions of internet, email, website. Just trust me. So follow along. Okay. Internet definition: a global wide area network, and all it does is connect computer systems across the world. That's what the internet is. All right. In layman's terms, we're talking about a huge electronic bookstore, and it's powered by computers, and they're communicating with each other back and forth. You got computers all over the world. They are on this quote unquote network, and there's a bunch of information on it. That's what the internet is. Okay. The next definition is World Wide Web. A very big mistake or misnomer is a lot of people will say the World Wide Web is the internet, and they're mixed together, but they're actually different. The World Wide Web, as we call it, it sits on top of the internet. The World Wide Web is basically a visual interface. So this wasn't existing. That early instance of the internet that came from ARPANET, the World Wide Web didn't exist at that time. The World Wide Web is a visual, it's a user-friendly interface that we use to collect the information, and we organize the information on top of the internet, okay? And so that is, it's almost like the information that resides inside the internet. Okay, so the internet's like the structure, and the World Wide Web is the internet, is the information, sorry, that sits on top. So your layman's terms for that is an easy visual way of accessing that collection of books in the online bookstore. So our internet's the bookstore, the World Wide Web is our visual means to actually look at those books in the online bookstore. Okay. So domain. Have you guys have heard of the word domain? Everybody's here. Okay, what's your domain name? A lot of people don't say what's your domain name. They say what's your website. But the core, the meat of that website address is what we call a domain. And the definition of a domain is almost like if you take the World Wide Web and or actually the internet and you segment it, into different pieces. The domain is a subdivision of the internet, and it has computers on it. It's all based, domains are, it's the name of a computer, and they have a common purpose. So a certain computer or domain will be dedicated to commercial things, selling, e-commerce. Other computers or domains will be dedicated to entertainment or educational. And that means like a school. So a school's website will have all their educational information, and that domain that they use to put their information on the internet is going to have an educational purpose, but it's still a domain. We call those addresses. They're kind of labeled as addresses, and they have a unique abbreviation. So your domain is primarily a name in the middle of your web address, and then there's a .com or a .org or a .edu, and they all have different. You can use any extension that you want, a dot whatever, but they do have certain purposes. So if you see a .com, it's usually a for-profit organization. A .org is usually a nonprofit. That's why we have ours as .org. .edu is an educational type website or domain that's behind it. And so layman's terms, again, easy visual means of accessing the collection of books that are residing within the electronic bookstore. So that's how we see it. Okay, it's through the World Wide Web that we can see all of the information that is on the bookstore. Okay, so the next thing, a website. Website, you find websites on the World Wide Web. The website is a location that is connected to the internet, and it maintains, that website will have one or more pages of information on the World Wide Web. And it can be viewed by way of a browser. We'll talk about a browser in a second. And that website, you basically kind of want to look at it as a collection of pages within this book that's in the bookstore. Okay, if that makes sense. If you've seen our website, any of you who have seen our website, we have multiple pages. We have a home page, we have an about us page, we have an events page. And so all of those pages are part of this book, so to speak. And that those pages are part of the website book in the online bookstore, which is, the internet, right? And we view all of them through the World Wide Web. And so that kind of gives you an idea. And of course, every single page is going to look different. An educational page is going to have all sorts of content on it. And a commercial somewhere where you buy something, that's going to look completely different. But nevertheless, every website is made up of pages. Some websites actually have one page. They call that a landing page because they don't need to go to multiple pages to say what they want to say. And others, they have 4 pages at the top. When you click on those 4, it goes down to 10 more pages. You got another that goes down to, it can be like a rabbit hole. So they can be as big as they need to be. It all depends on how much they're willing to spend to do that. So, all right. The next thing, talked about the web page. Let's go back to the web page. The web page, I kind of didn't get to that one. Sorry, I was on my screen. That's the collection of pages there, and page with an electronic book. And I wanted to kind of point out something. If you're looking at the screen, and for those who are not, I will try to describe what I'm talking about. On the screen, you'll see that there's typically, for a web page, there's going to be like a logo in the top left corner of the page. To the right of that, or somewhere in the middle, you'll see a menu navigation. This is a basic structure. It's not like what it has to be, but traditionally this is kind of where people's eyes normally, you know, go to. There's the logo on the left, some menu bar to the right of that. Then you start having some type of header right below that to say, hey, welcome here, whatever. And then whatever content. I mean, it's going to be, it can be, here's our products. Or as you see on our website, we know that most times when people come to our website, they're trying to get the live stream or they're trying to do online giving. So we're going to have those relatively close. Our content for those are going to be relatively close to the top. We have the member resource center. So it's really however you want it, but there's, you know, 3 or 4 different components that are just, you know, or 5, I'd say, a logo, some contact info somewhere on that home page, navigation menu bar at the top, a headline of some sort, the content, which is the body of the page, and then you'll have the footer. And it's just like, I mean, the footer is just like in a document. It's small notes or even a menu that you want them to know about as well. Okay. We're going to ask that everyone please mute your lines. If you're not muted, *6. We are getting some background noise. We want to kind of avoid that. All right. Now, let's talk about a software application. You guys have heard of like a software engineer, someone who develops software. Do you really know what that means? Software applications. We're going to need someone to mute. We're going to need someone to mute their mic. We're getting a lot of static noise moving in the background. Okay. All right. Hopefully we got it taken care of there. All right. So software application, if you haven't already read the whole page yet, it's a collection of data. All right. So software is nothing but data on a computer, but it's giving the computer instructions and it tells the computer how to work. Sometimes computers, like the brain of it, it's software that is literally programmed to run the brain of a computer. And that's like an operating system. That's what we call it, like an operating system. Then you have software where it's like a user-friendly application. It's meant to interface back and forth with someone who's looking at a computer screen. And that's going to be like Microsoft Word. It could be Google Chrome, which is a web browser. We'll talk about that in a second. It could be a game on your computer screen. A software developer programmed that game and it programmed the software to interact with the user and allow them to do something, right? And they use a programming language to do that. Then we have, you know, let's take the layman's terms. I don't ever forget my layman's terms. Electronic language. So you kind of want to look at software as a language that is designed to carry out certain tasks or enable a certain type of user interaction on a computer. So when it's task-based, it's usually the operating system behind the scenes. You never see it. It's what makes the computer go, the brain, the body of it, operations. Then if it's like a user interaction, that's the ones you see on the screen. Anything that you're clicking on was most times developed by a software engineer, okay? So then, and I have you know, over to the right-hand side, you see a picture. If you are watching the screen, everything that you do is developed by software. A spreadsheet that you're working on, if you're doing some type of calculation, games, like I said, if you're typing a document, Word document, if you're sharing files, if you're looking at a map online, everything you do is developed by software. There's a software person behind it, okay? Let's look at the next thing. Web browser. So I want to make sure I throw in a few words that are familiar to some of you all. Web browser, or browser for short. It's a software application. It's a software application as well because a user is going to interact with it on the computer screen. What it's meant for, it's a very special purpose. It's meant for accessing information on the World Wide Web. And if you're looking at the screen, you see some of the most common browsers: Chrome by Google, Safari, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer. Microsoft actually has 2, Internet Explorer and Edge is their newest one, which I don't think too highly of, but You know, most people use Google Chrome. It's kind of like the standard. And basically with a browser, you are viewing websites. You're doing activities within the website. It pulls up whatever website you want to pull up. You can view multimedia, so a video or graphics. You can go from one page to the next. The browser software allows you to go on a web page and click and pull up whatever you want from that web page. The web page has content. How do you get to the web page? Through a browser. So you'll hear people say, go to your browser, go to Internet Explorer, go to Chrome. And they're telling you to go to this piece of software on your computer that's going to allow you to access the internet in a visual way. All right. So the World Wide Web and those browsers, they work hand in hand. And I showed you the common one. So I kind of look at browsers as almost like an electronic window that allows you to kind of view the content that's on a web page, so to speak. And it's all of the web pages that is on the web. You can view that through the browser. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I'm still connected here. All right. So the next thing, we're wrapping up here. I wanted to pull this out because don't worry about the dates and all that type of stuff on there. If you're on the screen, I actually have a graphic of the layers or the different layers of the internet. And with the different layers of the internet, start from the bottom. Remember, I said the internet is just a big connection of computers. They're globally connected. And there's networks that are established. Okay, we have a computer network here, computer network here. They're all connected globally together. And then the internet is how they connect and communicate with each other. And the World Wide Web is how you view them. Users actually go on the World Wide Web and view. You would never see, none of us would ever see what the structure of the internet or the network of those computers look like. That's why we always want to make sure people know the internet and the World Wide Web are two different things. And I want you all to kind of play smart and, you know, show some people up. And when you hear people say, I'm going to go on the internet, say, no, you want to go on the World Wide Web. You know, you need to know what you're talking about. So that's a distinction that a lot of people are not aware of. The second thing is browsers. Fun fact here, a search engine, which I didn't give a definition, but I'll kind of tell you about that. Search engine is not the same as a browser. For instance, like you have some of the companies behind what we know now as a browser, they have a corresponding, what do you call it, search engine to match their browser. So Google Chrome is a browser and it uses Google as the search engine. Apple, we all know the Apple phones, iPhones and stuff, they have Safari as their browser. And I think it's Apple, Safari, Mozilla, a few of the other companies are actually using Google as their search engine. So when you do a search engine on an Apple iPhone, you'll most times find very similar results in your, what you call it, that you would find on a Google search. So it's all interconnected. Everybody steals and uses each other's stuff all the time. But that's just one distinction I wanted to make. A browser is not a search engine. A browser is literally that piece of software that allows you to access a search engine that is on the internet and lets you go and find information on the internet. And then, of course, the content is at the top. The content is all the information that sits on a web page or sits on a website. That's content. And that's what they call. So all of the content sits on a web page, website, that's at the top, and that's what you see. So I was hoping that this would give you an idea to show you the distinction. I didn't want to go into too much detail, you know, all the inventions and milestones, but I thought the visual was good to show you the hierarchy of how this stuff really works and connects together. And one of my last definitions here is email. Email, everybody, okay, a lot of people have heard of email. Everybody's heard of email. Not all of us use it. Some of us are not a fan of it. I'm not going to call any names, but but email is pretty much the primary communication, because snail mail or regular US mail is just, it doesn't get there on time now. So now everybody's using email, and that is an electronic message, or messages basically that are sent electronically from one computer to the other. That's all it is. Okay, email is electronic messages sent from one computer to the other, and it could be sent. Now, I'm not sure if all of you are aware of this, but email is not only sent over the internet. Some companies, and they're special type of companies, so this is not just your major, everyday company that's known by everybody. Some of them use a privately owned network. They have their own internal servers. They're not connected to the internet, but they have an email system where they can message each other back and forth internally within the company. And so that is actually something people don't know, but of course you have to have a special need for that. So that can be done private owned network or the internet. These emails can contain text, and that's how we all communicate. A lot of us communicate today. We already know about that. You can attach a document. So if you send a message, most times, okay, let's make this in layman's terms. Before email came, we had a letter, we wrote our letter down, it was a message. And if we wanted to send someone something, we wouldn't necessarily attach, but we put a picture in the envelope with our letter. Or if we wanted to send candy, we'll get an envelope or something. So this now allows us to take whatever we have digitally, a picture, video. You don't have to send a videotape, a VHS tape anymore. You can send a digital video and attach it to an email along with your message and send it to one or more people. So it's almost like taking that letter in the envelope and putting it in a computer. And if you had pictures or documents that you wanted to send, it's all being stuffed in an envelope and sent off on the computer. That's what your email is. Electronic message, electronic communication. Hopefully that's pretty simple for you guys. Oops, jumped ahead. Fun fact. Oops, let me get away. I almost gave away I think I gave away the answer. I'm wondering if you all know what is the most common email. For those of you who use email or are a little bit aware of it, what is the most common email provider out there? Like everybody has like a .yahoo or whatever your username is at yahoo.com, or it may be at icloud.com or at gmail.com. If you all, kind of want to, if you want to unmute and answer, feel free. If you just kind of want to take a guess and not say it out loud because you don't want to be wrong, that's fine too. But can anyone guess what is the most common email type that's out there? Give you a few seconds. Okay. Gmail. Gmail is the most common. 1 billion, not million, billion, 624,374,000 accounts. And this is as of 2020. I think it's, and of course, there's new email accounts created every day. So this number is already old by the time you've looked at it. The net one is NetEase. I never heard of them before. Outlook, outlook.com. So you'll see one of the email accounts we use is Outlook. Yahoo is actually 5th on the list. A lot of people have a Yahoo email account. It's low on the list. I have an iCloud account. That's my personal one. AOL, which AOL was one of the first emails that we knew of out there. It's like 3rd to last. So there's some other email providers you probably didn't even know about. So just a fun fact there, wanted to share that with you and realize, email account that's almost like, representative of how many people are out there. Everybody has their own, some people share, but most people have their own unique. So this is a lot of communication, if you think about it. All right. So at this time, I'm going to pause because we'll change gears a little bit. And I want to allow you guys to unmute your lines if you have any questions, because what we're going to do next is I'm going to pass the baton over to Travis Nelson and Jaquan Reeves, who are going to be presenting some of the ways that we are using some of the technology that you saw here, primarily the website and email. And we want you guys to really listen because there's information some of you might, I'm sure some of you don't know about. And we want you to start using these means to connect with us, to communicate with us going forward. So are there any questions? I had to mute some lines while I was talking, so you might not have known you were muted, but if you want to talk, click on *6.
Okay, can you hear me? Can
yes.
you hear me, Pastor
Yes.
Nathan?
Yes.
I have a question. They have these communication things like Twitter and Facebook.
Yes.
What is it? FaceTime or Facebook?
It's
What,
both of them. There's two of them, but they're two different things.
okay. When you group all those things together, what is there a name for that?
Yes, that is social media, and that's what we're going to cover in next week's lesson. We didn't want to bombard you with everything tonight.
Okay.
Yes, but social media, I can quickly just give you a quick short introduction. Social media, it's still a software that's online, that's developed online, but it has a high level of user interaction. I mean, people are communicating live, real time on these platforms. And Twitter, I say Twitter is kind of for people who just want to put their opinions out there and just want to talk. Same thing for Facebook, but Facebook kind of connects you and lets you share in a different type of way. LinkedIn is really for professional sharing and networking. And then you have like, what was it, Instagram, that's, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing, that type of deal. They all have a certain purpose. You tend to see a certain type of behavior on different platforms, social media platforms. And so, if you ask me, a lot of them overlap. I don't think you need all of them out there, but people have their preference. They like the user interface better. So that's pretty much, a high level explanation, but we're going to go into detail so you understand exactly what social media is. That's actually a very specific use of the internet. And it can be social or professional or, some other uses.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Good question. Good question. Anyone else have a question? Sister Pat, I think you're muted. I can see you have a question, but you look like you're muted. So I hit *6 or hit the mute button to unmute. Still can't hear you. If you do me a favor, do you know how to get to chat? You can type your question. Oh, there it is. Okay. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
I got you now. Woo. Yeah, you got a lot going on here.
I got a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah. Okay. There's some type of echo or that's happening, and so if you don't mind typing your question to Sister Laterica real quick, and then she's going to be shooting me questions, and then I can answer because we can't really hear you right now. Okay. Is there anyone else that has a question? No. I couldn't have explained everything that well. I'm sure there are questions. Okay. All right. So Sister Pat, text your question to Sister Laterica because we could not hear you that well. So just make sure you get that over, and I'll make sure we're getting an echo when you unmute. So you'll have to keep your line muted. All right. So let's not delay. Let's go ahead and get these last two topics covered. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stay on the line. I'm going to kind of be the Vanna White for Travis Nelson. And we're going to have him actually talk about one of the ways that we are using some of the topics I covered today, primarily the website, for our ministry. And this is where I know Pastor Nathan wants you all to please listen, take notes, and then write down questions. And if you have trouble accessing it later, call us. But this is going to be really critical because he's dishing out a lot of info. He has us populating the website quite a bit, and we want you to know what you have. Also, we are in the mode of witnessing now, that we are being in hard, I'd say, boot camp training for witnessing during the pandemic. And there's some critical information that's out there you will want to access. And you may want to send some of your friends to our website. You kind of want to know what your church website looks like and where to tell them where to go. So this is your chance to learn that. So with no further delay, I'm going to turn it over to I'm sorry, he doesn't like me saying that, but Travis Nelson, and allow him to kind of talk through and walk you through our website. You'll say a few words here, and then we'll toggle over to the actual website, and you're going to see us go through everything that's on there.
Hey
So,
everyone. Yeah, can you hear me? Thumbs up. Yes. Okay. So I am, as Ayana said, I'm gonna walk us through the church website, and I am going to try to do this expeditiously. I got that word from Pastor Nathan. So, so when you log onto the church website, which if you do not know how to get to it, it is www. Again, using that worldwide internet. I'm sorry, World Wide Web. I'm sorry, Yana. World Wide Web, THDT.org. And so when you get there, it will bring you to our homepage, which you can see on the screen is that image of the Bible, and it says, "Welcome to True Holiness Deliverance Tabernacle." That is the first thing you should see when you go to our website. There you're going to find all of the various branches and things that you are going to look for and get into when you are trying to look for a particular thing on our website. As you can see across the screen, they go literally right across the top: home, live stream, about, events, resources, gallery, online giving, and contact us. And I'm going to go through each one of those, and you'll notice that 2 of those tabs have drop downs. So as we scroll down our homepage, you will see there's a link right away that you can click into for joining our live stream. I personally do this every Sunday, and it's just easy. One click, and that's it. And that is a easy access so that you don't have to go to YouTube and try to type it in each time or anything like that. And as we continue down on the homepage, we have a new feature. Pastor Nathan recently talked about it, our Member Resource Center. And this is where if you want to look for something very quick, very specific, you can easily go right here. You don't have to search or try to find it in another tab. It's right there on the homepage that you can click into and go to those various areas that you need. So maybe I'm logging on and I specifically want to look for, a meet a need with a need situation. I can easily go right there. I'll click find out more, and I'm able to then see what I need to do, or what is available, or who I should contact for me to meet with a need within the church. So that is our homepage. And as you continue, you'll see there's other things such as, our latest events. They just kind of scroll there. You can easily access our online giving on the homepage. Pretty much everything can be kind of quickly grabbed from the homepage. It'll be a very quick one-stop shop for us. So we can go up to the top, and the first thing we're going to go to is our live stream. We'll go in order as they are across the top up there. So live stream, again, as I was just stating, is an easy way to access the services and be able to tour them. As you can see right now, we are live. So as I talk, it is actually there for you to click on and actually see what's happening live over our stream. You can also go back and view services that have already come and gone and ended, whatever, go back to them, easy references. So that is our live stream tab. Then we go back to the web page, and we have our About Us page. So About Us, if you have people that you want to refer or to the website or to our church, this is a great place for them to kind of get a background of us. As you can see, we have our 3 fearless leaders there down in Sanford, right across the top, and then a beautiful picture of our home location. And then you can find all of that, who we are as a church, as a ministry, right there on the About Us page, even down to our start back on that faithful November 17th night. It's all there, our statement of faith, what we believe in, what type of ministries we have available within our church and within our organization. And next up is events. So this is one of those drop-down tabs that I was telling you about. And so when you click on it, it'll drop down, it'll say upcoming events. As you can see, we have our flyer for the workshop We have our flyer for our upcoming birthday parade. And this is just a quick way to stay aware of what's happening within our church, within our ministry. You can always reference back to this tab on the webpage, and it is updated regularly, and you'll know what's going on, when, where, and all of that good stuff. Then we have our next tab, which is resources. And so this offers a lot. And as you can see, the scroll menu here is a little bit lengthier, but that's letting you know we can easily click to all of that stuff that we need. So as we click into, let's say, media, you'll easily see that we're going to go right back to those videos. They're put there for us to access because this is our media. This is what we are putting out on a technology basis. If we go to newsletters, as we know, the newsletters are uploaded for you to download. You can view them and have access to them digitally. You don't have to wait for a mail copy. I know we were used to getting them in person, but now they're coming to us digitally. So you can easily go back, access, read through them. Sometimes if you need to take notes on them, you can highlight and all that good stuff, depending on what your phone allows you to do. And also our Sunday school lessons, you can reference those as well. I know that we a lot of times get homework from Sunday school and from Bible study. You can easily access them there. When we think of our ministry resources, all of the various documents such as, winning souls during the pandemic, the information that Pastor Nathan has typed up and made available for us is again listed there. That I'm saved now what document, I just want to tell you all that document has been around my whole life, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, but you can go back and receive it and look at it and also share it with, whomever you might need to. So a lot of good things that are available. Oh, that document looks very different from when I last seen it. That is nice. But it is there. You can stay in touch. It tells you like what we have going on, when our service times are, and also, who our pastor and first lady are, and then also what, the next steps are following your newfound salvation. So yeah, definitely refer your family, friends there, whomever you might need to. And sorry. Under resources, we also have our health center. So we know that we had a workshop centered around diabetes not too long ago, back in May, with Dr. Dixon and Dr. Jaja and Minister Smith and Minister Arnold, where they were able to teach us and educate us on diabetes, and the documents and some really good resources are available right there for anyone that may have diabetes or may know someone. Again, those resources are already uploaded for you to easily access. And when we click on Meet a Need with a Need, our leader over this area is Sister Latoya Burke. So you can submit, let's say you have a need that you need to have met. You can submit a quick little description and your name and everything. And so then our church administrator, Sister Hillary, she gets it and she's able to direct it over to Sister Burke, and then that starts that line of communication to meet that need, or meet the need for someone else. Perhaps you have something that you need to give. That is where you can do that easily, and we can still make this happen in this time of our pandemic. We aren't seeing each other face to face, but we still have the option and the availability to get this done and still be able to take care of our fellow brothers and sisters.
Travis, if you don't mind me jumping in here, we are actually, this program has been in place for a while. Pastor Nathan has been pushing this initiative, and what we did as the technology team, we created a spot on the website for it. This is just a basic, hey, I have a need, and this is what my need is. And this form is also at the moment for those who want to, or say, I have some things I can give away and I hope they meet someone's need. You can actually fill out this form and tell us what that is. What we'd like to do is we need you all to start sending us pictures, text, or something. Let us know that you have stuff to give to meet a need. Let us know if you need anything, because what we want to do is start putting a picture on here of everything that's available. So you don't even have to go say, hey, I need this. You can look on the website and see if there's something you need that's there. And this is where we're giving, this is the reciprocity happening in real life. So right now, today, you can start tonight. I have no problem doing that. Send us, if you want to text us a picture of what you have. Sister Latoya Burke is over this, but you can contact her or Sister Laterica. Let them know you have some needs. Send us a picture of what they are. We are going to put those pictures on the website. No one has to know they came from you. It will be anonymous. If you have a need, you can spot it on the website or just type in something specific and we'll be on the lookout for it. And there's a whole little operation going on behind the scenes, but we're going to use this technology to help us communicate. So I just wanted to add that bit in there, and I'm sure Pastor Nathan's going to jump in at some point and add some more to it, but I had to throw that in there for you guys so you know how it's going to operate. But today, right now, please start sending us your items that you need, and because we will list the needs. We'll put a list of those needs on the site, and then you all can say, oh, I have that, and then you could submit a picture, and then we'll make sure you all connect and take care of that need.
I have a question. This is Sister Nathan. May I ask it?
Yes.
Go ahead.
How do we send, can we post pictures right here, or do we just like text them to you?
We would like to control what goes on the website. So we will not have it such that you are able to post at will. We'll want to make sure that it goes through. So that's why I said, if you contact Sister Latoya Burke or Sister Terica Hillary, they will make sure we get either a description of what is available and or a picture posted. Okay?
Thank you. All right, good.
All right, so we'll continue on. So next up on our resources, we have community. And this is where we make it known what we are aware of at the church, what's going on within the community. But we try to stay up to date, both Seminole and Volusia County, because that's where a large percentage of our members come from, both Seminole and Volusia County. So you'll see there's various resources provided there for community resources, such as COVID testing and all of that good stuff. And as we hear of other events or we're made aware of them, we try to also post them and share them out. That way you can always kind of see, hey, what's going on in Volusia County, what's going on in Seminole County. And you can also download this all as a PDF so that if you want to print it, if you want to save it for later, you can. You have that option. It's easily made available to you. And our next tab under resources is our online giving guide. I think a lot of our members are doing a fantastic job with this, and I know that we've kind of had a little breakdown of how to do it for several times over, and that's been really helpful. But typically, if you have to give your offering or whatever your tithes later and you're like, hey, how do I do this? You can also find this quick reference resource on our website. You can walk yourself through it. It even tells you how to go about giving for the first time via text, as well as how to download our new church app, and you can do it there. There's a lot that's put out there as far as online giving and as far as how to access it. We have several different methods, and again, it's all there for you.
And I'm going to jump in here, Travis, because I just noticed a glitch. We have under resources, online giving guide. That's going to go away. What we decided to do is just create a technology corner. You saw that on the home page, on the member resource page, there was a technology corner. That technology corner just basically takes you to the page that says, hey, here's our app. Here's our online giving guide. Here's our instructions for how you download the app. So anything that's technology related that you as our members need to know, you can actually come here, and then there's links to download the app, and there's links to see how the app works. The document to see how the app works, and there's a document to know how to do online giving. And these guides, we try to be as descriptive as possible. So for those of you who are not watching the screen, this is not just a, hey, bullet 1, 2, 3, click on this, click on that. We actually put screenshots in there to help you guide you along. So I would highly suggest that you download them, print them out. If you have problems, call us. We'll work it out. We'll figure out how to get it done some kind of way. We'll get you there. Okay. So just wanted to add that the online giving guide link is not going to be there. That's a broken link, but the technology corner, technology page is what you would go to for all of the online technology stuff you need to know about. Okay.
And as far as our THDT policies, this is also made available under resources. We have a new bereavement policy, and it has been officially published to our website. So everyone is able to get a clear understanding of what the policy is, who it involves, and there's no gray area or confusion about it. So the policies are made available for you, and as our other policies are updated, those will also be made available to you as well. So our next tab across the top is Gallery. There you can take a few glances at some images of our ministry. One of our overseer back in the day just preaching the word as we know her to Apostle Washington, and just some other really great, exciting moments that have built the ministry that we know it to be, such as the foundation of the Jacksonville Church and the parade that they had. All of this stuff is just really cool to kind of go back and reminisce. And those resources, those images again are made available to you right there. And I think there are even images a little further down from when our women's department did Painting with the Saints, and they had their event in the back, and they painted their beautiful pictures and just had a glorious time. Everyone bragged on how cool it was. I don't know, men, we have to do something. But anyways, that was their fun events that they did. And so we like being able to share that, saying, hey, we do cool event stuff with our members. And this is just a quick glance at that. And so the next tab across the top is online giving. We've talked about this, and if you click on it, it takes you right to our online giving platform. It's so easy. You can just type in what you need to do. If you want to make it reoccurring, if you want to do one time, you just click the option that fits you at that time, and then you select where you want this money to go. And so if you want to donate to a bereaved family, you can. If you want to donate to or give to your tithes, you can. If you want to give a love offering to one of our leaders, you can do that right there in our online giving area. And the other thing is, if you go to like your account, if you're logged in and you're set up and everything, you'll be able to view your givings report real time. It's up to date. I've looked at mine and I'm like, whoa, okay, that's cool. So you don't have to wait for the church to get that out to everyone at the beginning of the year. You have access to it whenever you need it. So that is what is available on our online giving. If you again have any questions, you can always contact us and we're more than happy to help you. And our final tab across the top of our screen is the Contact Us tab. As it says, we'd love to see you in person. We know that's not happening right now, but you can go here. You'll see that we recommend that you view our live stream services. It provides you with our address, our phone number, and you're able to communicate with us by clicking on the button that says drop us a line. And so let's say you have a prayer request or you have a question or whatever the case may be, you can easily put this information in right there. And that goes again to our church administrator, Sister Hillary. And if it's something that is department specific, she gets it to the correct department. Or if it's Pastor Nathan, Pastor Wells, Overseer Brian question, whatever it may be, she gets it to them as well. So you have access to all of these things right there, your fingertips. All you have to do is visit THDT.org and you can access just about whatever you need and get in contact with whomever you need. So that is a quick walkthrough of our church website. And thank you guys for listening to me. I appreciate it. And I am going to turn this back over to Sister Ayana, or am I turning this over?
Yeah,
Sister
yeah.
Ayana.
Okay, so yeah, at this time we're going to now Jaquan. I know Jaquan's on the phone. He's going to cover the last topic. It's not going to be long. We're not going to hold you guys too much longer. But Jaquan is actually going to cover our emails and how we use email. I would like for you all to please, kind of take some notes here, because when you have questions, being that we're moving away from text messages, and I'm going to say a few words about that in a second. We're going to need you to learn how to use the email to communicate one-on-one with certain ministry leads. Of course, you always have our phone number, but there are dedicated email accounts for you as members that you do need to be aware of when you have a specific question. So Jaquan, I'm going to prompt you to unmute. You just have to unmute your line there, and I'll let you go ahead and
Hello, everyone.
can you get your video on?
Okay.
So they can see your face?
I don't know if
There
it's on.
he is.
Okay.
Jaquan is one of our technology technicians, and he supports us in the back a lot of Sundays. You guys may see him, may not see him. He serves along faithfully with Sister Charity McKenzie, Tyreek, Sister Jenny Williams, and Brother Smith. We're all kind of moving where we need to. So he's going to just kind of talk a little bit about the emails, and then we'll wrap up our session.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly go over the different emails that we have for the church and what they go to so that you know where to go. The first email I'm going to talk about is our info@thdt.org. That's our administration mailbox. It goes directly, well, not directly to, but it will go to Sister Laterica Hillary. That's for general inquiries, general questions that you have for the church. That's where you'll email. Our next email is going to be our technology@thdt.org. It's our technology administration mailbox. That goes to Sister Ayana Nathan. Hold on, I have my paper, I'm sorry. That mailbox is for topics related to technology. It's also used for member inquiries and help requests regarding technology platform. So like if you're having problems with the website or giving, you use that email. Or you can use the finance email at THDT.org. That's also an email that you can use. That's for Sanford and Jacksonville. That's for our finance management topics. You can also email that for inquiries, mostly for donations or anything that really has to do with the money that goes into the church. And our next email is Pastor Nathan's email. That's his personal email box. If you need something to talk to him, that will go directly to him. It won't go to the church, so you don't have to worry about us reading your personal emails or anything. Same thing that goes with Pastor Wells's email. That goes to her personal mailbox. And our last email is the one that goes to us, the technology team. That mailbox is used to receive information for things that are usually going on in the church that you guys want on the computers, or if you want special music playing as you enter the church, that's where you go. And it's mostly used for people, it's mostly used for to give us information, mostly for like scriptures or presentations or files that you want displayed on the TV screens. Even though we're not really in church right now, we can also use that email to maybe display something during a Zoom meeting that we have. And that's pretty much all our emails.
Thank you, Jaquan. So yes, I wanted to add a couple of things to that, to what he was saying.
I have a question for Jaquan.
Sure, go ahead, Pastor Nathan. Jaquan, you want to unmute your line?
Yeah. How do you contact the pastor? What was that email address?
Pastor Nathan at THDT.org.
Thank you.
All right. So I wanted to add a couple of things. We actually have a couple of other email addresses that we've set up for Jacksonville. So Jacksonville They will use like the technology one if they have any technology issues, because we're getting them up and running. They may not be as far along as we are with using technology throughout their ministry services, but they're working their way up there. So we actually have some things in action for them. Finance. So the finances are all handled under finance at THDT.org, whether you're a Sanford or Jacksonville member. That's where the inquiries, if you have concerns about anything, goes there. Their Pastor Henry also has a personal email address. So his is Pastor Henry at THDT.org. I would also like to point out the THDTtech@outlook.com. We like to make sure, and this is, per strict request of Pastor Nathan, we don't just throw anything up on the screen during services. When it comes to something that's presented, it has been approved, pre-approved or reviewed by Pastor Nathan and or Sister Laterica, and they've worked together to coordinate that being shown in services. Ministers, all ministers, elders, pastors, preachers on the line. If you preach a message, if you're asked to preach a message and you don't have any one of those titles, it does not matter. If you're going to present something and you'd like to share a PowerPoint or a document or video, that's the email inbox that you would need to send it through. And, we're kind of given the trust factor there for those who are speaking or presenting. You don't necessarily have to go through Pastor Nathan or Sister Laterica for that information, because we assume that you've already discussed with them what you're going to be speaking about. They've already asked you to preach on a Sunday, so they're trusting you to get your scripture references to us. I'm sure some of you remember Charity and Jaquan tracking you down for your scriptures so they could put them on the screen. Same thing when we're virtual. We'll kind of want to know what that information is ahead of time. So that inbox, where we do like to have things pre-approved for the ministry's sake. When you're doing sermons or presentations, we're kind of trusting that information is already good. You can shoot it to this inbox and we'll make sure that it's displayed during the service. Okay, that's it, guys. I know we kind of started a little late because the prayer time went over, but so I don't want to keep us past too much of an hour. I want to stop now, see if there are any questions. Pastor Nathan, please jump in if there are any questions from the members that are still on the call. Hopefully this was helpful. I hope you guys learned a thing or two,
Sister Nathan here, when you say you want us to use the email, you just want us to use these email addresses, or do you want us to communicate?
For those of you, yeah, okay, good question. For those of you who are comfortable using email, you are comfortable communicating over email, sending a message to or receiving a message from someone by using email. If you have questions regarding just a general, hey, what about this event? What time is this event? Or what's needed for me to need? That's the info. If you have a question about technology and you need help, hey, I got the app installed, but I'm having some issues. You want to shoot us an email. Now, let's just be real. We're a small church. We're not unreachable. You guys can call us at any time. But if we want to send you some information, or you want to send us some information or request, you can send the information to these email addresses. These are the official email addresses that are monitored. They're like on our phone. We get them immediately and we respond fairly quickly to them. So if you as a member have a question or concern about anything that we've covered regarding finances, technology, or just general, everything that's not finance or technology, you're going to send it to the info@thdt.org. We want you to have these, know that they exist, and you know that you can reach us through these email accounts. It's not the only way, but we have it. And if you have people outside of the church that need to know, then you have these email addresses, and you can, we'll put these on our technology corner so you know that they're there for community. I'm actually on the contact us page too as well. Is that a question? No, okay.
Ayana?
Yes. Yeah, we're still getting the echoes. Sister Pat, were you able, I hope you were able to text your question to Sister Laterica. That way we could get it answered. And if not, just call us afterwards and we'll make sure if someone else needs to hear that answer, we can cover it next week. Okay, last thing here is just showing you what we're going to cover next week. Next week, we will have another quick history lesson, and I'm gonna need someone to mute their lines. Mute your lines, please. There you go. All right, devices, smartphones, tablets, computers, you know, what is all of that, you know, and how do they differ? Wi-Fi. There's a lot of misconceptions about Wi-Fi, and that's basically a wireless access to the wireless internet. Mobile apps that are out there. We have a new mobile app for our church. Social media, the question was already proposed today on social media, and then also live stream. So of course, not as many topics, but we'll go ahead and get into them, and then we'll show you how we're using those particular types of technology in our ministry, because we are using each and every one of them. We actually have use of Wi-Fi as well that we have. So at this time, I'm hoping that you guys felt this was helpful. You learned a thing or two that you didn't know. You thought you knew a lot about it, but you learned more. I want to kind of acknowledge the technology team again, Brother Smith, Sister Charity, Brother Jaquan, Tyreek, and Jenny. Although we're not in person, these people are always available to help support us where needed on the technology side. We have some more stuff next week, and you know, of course, at any time, we are always making sure you all know, call us if you have any problems. We will make sure that you get the help you need. We'll figure out how to troubleshoot. We'll figure out how to make it work. That's our goal. So if nothing else,
Sister Nathan.
yes.
Yeah, okay. So the info at technology, that's, I think it's, if we have pictures of things we need or need to give away, it's better to send them to info on an email, because then she can more easily send, instead of, don't try to text her, but put it in the email, and then she could easily shift it to you guys.
I would let Sister Laterica and Latoya, they are both on the line. I would,
Yeah.
I would allow them to unmute and kind of, because that is a good question. Either one of them, Sister Laterica or Sister Latoya, can address how they would like to receive those if they want to send a picture of something for now. Okay, we're having some problems having them unmute, but you can text it to them. That's always possible, but you can also email it. I believe it's okay to do either one, as long as it gets to one of the two of them. I think you're okay. Oh, there's Latoya. She's unmuted now.
I'm sorry. They can text it to me.
Okay, so text is okay then, that's for sure. Okay. All right, I don't see any more questions. I didn't get any questions on from live chat. I mean, from the YouTube live.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear now?
Oh, Yana?
Yes, we can hear you good now. Sister Laterica, we can hear you. Did you have something to add to that, Sister Laterica?
No, I was just going to say the same thing, that text is okay.
Good deal, good deal. All right, that's it. Pastor Nathan, we're going to turn it back over to you. And thank you for the opportunity to let us share with everyone.
Praise the Lord. Thank God. I'm telling you, saints, we just need to give them a big round of applause. I know that they may not be able to hear it, but if you were listening, you really got a lot from that. And they're coming back next week to kind of finish it. But I also want to drop in their spirit that we're going to need a follow-up after next week's session. Get ready for a follow-up. And also, I just want to say that these guys that we have here working with us, and ladies, are experts in their area, and they cost thousands of dollars, and they're not charging us anything. We're getting the training and the knowledge of people that are spending thousands of dollars to get their services, and we're getting the top of the line of service. So I'm telling you, don't waste it. Take advantage of it, saints. You contact them. If you didn't get an understanding, you even have the right, privilege to contact one of them and say, I didn't get this, I didn't understand this tonight. Can you help me with it? They are available. They're not charging you, not one dime. So let's take advantage of that. I want you to remember the homework assignments that's coming up for the third Wednesday in this month. Remember, your homework was to witness to 3 people and 3 saints, because we're practicing now. We're just practicing using the 6 steps of salvation. Remember to witness to those 3 people, and also to read that sheet that I'm saved now. What? It's on the church website, so you can pull it up and read. You don't even have to print it. Just read it, and we're going to have a discussion about it on our next session. Don't forget to help me Saturday. Call me, text me, whatever you need, whatever you can do to let me know that you're going to help me out this coming Saturday to make sure that this family feels very comfortable with the homegoing of our sister, Sister Ann Alexander. God bless each one of you. I love you. Thank you so much for all that everybody is doing. And I'm just happy to hear the enthusiasm and everybody that's a part of what we're doing. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you is my prayer. At this time, I think you can just fellowship on out of here the rest of the night. Jaquan,